Good evening, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube friends. Thanks for joining. We are going to get started in just a minute. Thank you, Sandra, Cynthia, everyone. Appreciate you starting up the chat box. Any questions that anybody has out of the gate this evening, or please go ahead, type it in the chat box. Always try to answer questions as we roll along. Very excited to talk about tonight. Yesterday, I just got word that the state of Michigan 10,000 is now being able to put the 25,000 through the city of Detroit, piggyback it right on top. Now, we're going to hyper focus on those programs today, but for any of you that are looking outside the city of Detroit or across the country, I tend to have people that hit my webinars from all over the country, and I always appreciate that. We're going to give you the tools to find whatever programs are in your backyard. So there's a few things we're going to cover this evening. We're going to go over down payment assistance programs and grants, where to find them. Okay, I'm going to give you a tool that we built called Zero Down Scout. It'll give you access to about 3,000 down payment assistance programs and grants across the country. My name is John Collins. I'm located in southeastern Michigan, Detroit person. So I am well dialed into all the programs in southeastern Michigan and the whole state for that matter. I'm pretty well versed on that. No shortage of programs in our neck of the woods and across the country. So almost crazy the amounts of down payment assistance programs and grants that are out there. And I'll show you how to access those in just a moment. But let me get this recorded for all the people that aren't here. Record to this computer. Great. So I always record all of my webinars. If you ever want to access them, they are out on my YouTube channel, which is Own the Roof, OWNTHEROOF.com. So that's the website, but the Own the Roof is the name of the YouTube channel. If you go to the live events, you'll see all of the different webinars that I've done for the past, 3, 4, maybe 5 years. I've been, probably closing in on 5 years I've been doing this. I'd have to put a pencil to the paper. It was just about COVID, so probably about 5 years now. But anyways, love doing these webinars. I'm able to help so many people. So it's just truly a passion of mine. So my story, I've been doing this 38 years as of July. So spent about 7-8 years in the real estate world. And then once I had a family, raising a family, selling real estate, not the easiest career to do. So I transitioned over to the mortgage world and had a real nice run there. I spent probably about almost 25 years in the mortgage world. So that's where I really learned into how to tap into these down payment assistance programs, grants, and structure these deals so people can get in with very little money out of pocket. A lot of the people that I work with lately are getting in with only $1,000 out of pocket, even with below average credit. So we're going to give you a path for that this evening, at least here in southeastern Michigan. If you're outside of the area, schedule a call with me. Always happy to pull up what programs are in your neck of the woods, give you context for those programs, and teach you how to structure these transactions so you're getting in with very little money out of pocket. I'm going to put in right now, here is a link to my calendar, owntheroof.com, book a call. This is how you can book a call with me. And let me get this out to my Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn friends as well. There you go. All right. So, in addition to having X amount of years in the mortgage world, I had a financial meltdown, probably had about 15 years ago, where a bookkeeper took advantage of some of the money in one of the companies that I had, and it was a hard fall down. It was actually a title insurance company. And it basically broke me financially, mentally, you name it. I've been through it all. But after going through the bankruptcies, the multiple foreclosures for all the properties and investments that I was holding at the time, after that, there was kind of a wake-up moment. And that wake-up moment was, after going through that, did I want to rebuild over again? It's not that I didn't like what I was doing, but it wasn't really as fulfilling. I mean, it was fulfilling financially, but getting later in life is like, do I really want to try to redo this? And my wife and I decided, it really wasn't my happy space. My happy space is helping people. And that's when I realized, when I was actually, after rebuilding my credit, I actually qualified for a down payment assistance program. And we were buying a house after rebuilding my credit. After 2 years after a bankruptcy, we were able to buy a house. Okay. So don't let anybody tell you it can't be done. It can be, and it's actually easier to do it today than it was 15 years ago or whatever it was. Okay. In fact, I do a class teaching people how to build their credit 60 points in 60 days. And let me give you a link to that for anybody that needs help on the credit front. It is a lot easier than it used to be. Back then, I had to write letters and do everything. We rebuilt the credit. We were able to buy after 2 years. The issue that I ran into was at the 11th hour, the loan officer I was working with told me that he didn't apply for the down payment assistance because he didn't think that I needed it. And that still to this day irks me. But it was at that point in time that I was like, you know what? That's what my calling is. I'm going to get back into real estate. I'm going to educate people on these down payment assistance programs and grants and how to buy homes with very little money out of pocket. And I've been doing it ever since. I think it's about 12 years now since I re-entered. But the reason I share that story with you is it wasn't that long ago. When I look back, when I was sitting where many of the people that I talked to on these webinars are sitting right now. So don't think that I haven't been there. Everybody's got a story. I'm 100% convinced of that. But there is a path to get through and get to home ownership, especially right now with the rental market. It's absolutely disgusting what's going on in the rental market. There's not much out there that's actually available. And what is a sad disappointment. So that being said, hopefully this evening, you're going to get some great takeaways. You're going to learn that there is a possibility to do this. We're going to go over some success stories that we've had over the past year. We're also going to go over the how to access all the different programs, what the difference between a grant and a down payment assistance program is, what's the criteria, what do I need to get approved from an income and credit standpoint. I always tell people the money for me is the easiest part with all of these down payment assistance programs and grants. So do not let the money hold you back. Okay. I can't tell you how many people I sell houses to during the course of the month that are renting, and they're just in less than favorable spots where water in the basement, landlord doesn't want to do anything. I need to put this one lady up, Miss Gibson, on one of my favorites because she was actually no heat in her house in the winter time, and we got her in. So the state of landlords right now in southeastern Michigan is really sad, and it's that way all across the country right now. So that being the case, this is if that's you or that resonates with you in any way, you are in the right spot. Okay. So everything that I give is 100% free education. Okay. And you can catch it all on my website. I'll show it to you in a minute. I've got free books, free digital courses, free access to the grants and down payment assistance. For me, it's all about paying it forward. I pay it forward every day. And as a result, I get blessed with so many people that I'm able to meet and help. So with that being said, let's jump right into it tonight. I promise I'm going to have you out of here by 7:50 tonight, and I'll be answering questions. As long as you have them, I will be here. So first person I want to tell you about is Nate. Nate purchased a home out in White Lake Township. He used a $14,000 down payment assistance program to buy this $260,000 house, and he was able to get a free solar system that covers the vast majority of his electric bill. That program is solid. Okay, so he has been through the solar systems installed. He's happy with it. So I can actually say that I recommend that now. He's been through the whole process. The next one, this is Kenneth. Kenneth actually was referred to me while he was sitting in his barber's chair. His barber was telling him how he was being evicted from a house because his name wasn't on the lease. His buddy moved out. His landlord said, your name's on the lease. You got to go. And Kenneth called me. Here we are. 60 days later, we were able to get him into this house. Actually, when he called me, he was actually working with another agent, and that agent was kind of forcing him into purchasing a home. Actually, on the block I grew up on, anybody that knows Lamphere in Detroit, shout out to the Brightmoor area. Lamphere and Finkel, that's where the agent was trying to push him into buying a house on a land contract. It just wasn't up to snuff. Okay, it was a tired house, needed a lot of work, and we were able to find this house, 7 Mile and Evergreen. I take that back. Greenfield, excuse me, $95,000. He was able to get a $10,000 down payment assistance program from the state of Michigan. He only needed $950 out of pocket to buy this house. Zero money at closing. All he had to do was pay for the inspection and the appraisal, and he was in. So great quality house. Very, very happy for Kenneth. Also, for any of you out there that are on a fixed income, so is Kevin. We got him approved with his Social Security income. That's it. Okay. Next one. Here is Shannon. Shannon actually was referred to me from a few ladies that I had sold homes to at the Kroger at 8 Mile in Wyoming. Shout out to the Kroger there. I many times have somebody from Kroger on my webinars, so I'm very blessed to be able to help people there. Shannon purchased a home right on Wyoming, a couple blocks from where she works, because she's part of a growing population of people that just don't want to drive anymore. So, so we made it nice and easy. You can see beautiful kitchen, nice 50s brick ranch, newer roof, so and a 2-car garage in back. Very predictable house. She bought it for $117,000, and she only needed $2,000 at the time of closing. So very happy for Shannon. And then here's Emily. Okay, Emily is another person. She's a favorite of mine. Emily, I was blessed the day that I met Emily. Emily taught me as much about getting a persistence and getting deals across the finish line as anybody ever did. Emily was the first person to ever purchase a home through the Detroit Housing Commission purchase program. She did it probably around 2 years ago now. And she was able to get $33,134 in grant money to purchase it. So she used the Detroit grant or down payment assistance program, 3% down payment gift, $5,000 closing cost credit, and then a $500 appraisal grant. So she ran the table. She got all the money that was out there. Home was priced at $117,800, and I think her payment came in $750, maybe $800 tops. And what's even better is the Housing Commission Section 8 voucher program is making the payment for her. Okay. A lot of people have heard about this. She was the first person that ever got across the finish line. And actually, she has helped open the door for a lot of other families. Since then, I accredit her to giving me a very good relationship with the Detroit Housing Commission, where right now I think I have 3 people that we're closing in the next couple of weeks that are purchasing homes using their voucher. So very, very happy for them and very proud to be a partner with the Housing Commission on those. Here, Tashiana qualified for $25,000 from the city of Detroit. Brian bought this house in Inkster using the $10,000 from the state of Michigan. Only needed $1,200 out of pocket, and his payments were about $1,200. So very happy for him. And then here is Deborah. Deborah was another person that I learned a lot from. Okay, not too many landlords are quality. And the person in the upper right-hand corner here, LaDon, I will say, Deborah called me and said, hey, her landlord was going to sell her the house, promised to sell it to her 5 years ago. The home, it's on Cherry Lawn in the University District. He promised to sell it to her for $125,000. And, I'm thinking to myself, I've heard this many times, when money's on the table, people's true colors sometimes shine and it doesn't always work out. But Deborah was absolutely right. The day that I met LaDon, was blessed. What a great man. He honored what he told her and sold it to her for $125,000. And it appraised for $187,000. Okay. So we were able to work the numbers. She used the Tobias Harris program that gave her $75,000. He gave her $41,000 in gift of equity. Anyways, we worked it so we could get her payments down so low. She got in there for about $700 a month. Crazy. So very, very happy for Deborah. Very happy that she introduced me to LaDon. Since then, he's referred me several of his tenants to help out as well. Now, the one thing most people on this webinar have in common with everyone so far is a lot of them were once on my webinar over the past 5 years. It's not uncommon for me to have some people watching my webinar for last time I did one, someone was on for 3 years. And, I joke because, not that I don't like seeing the same familiar faces, especially the older I get, I need to hear things 2 or 3 times. So I totally get that. But, you see some familiar faces. So I can see some familiar names here tonight. So if anybody's been following me 2-3 years, give me a thumbs up on the chat. Let people know that, I'm here for the long haul and certainly here to help. So now, with that being said, I want to tee off tonight with a couple of things that, thanks. Thank you both very much. So the Tobias Harris program still has a lot of funding, does not get nearly the amount of publicity as it should. Now, any of you that follow basketball, Tobias Harris was traded last month, but the program he subscribed to and funded still out there. It gives up to $75,000 to buy a home in Detroit. Okay. And there is chatter that they may be sending this statewide. Hopefully they don't. And the reason I say that is if it goes statewide, it'll disappear in a heartbeat. Okay. And I like to I want this jewel to just stay in the city to help where it does the most help. So this program, you do have to have 3% of your own money into the transaction. That's the downside. So if you're buying a $200,000 house, you got to have $6,000 into the transaction. Okay. Great program, though. It really works well for people on fixed income to drive those payments down. So if you're on a fixed income and want to get a really low payment, this is a great tool, especially if you're a little bit older. The downside with this program is you have to pay it back when you sell the home. So just keep in mind, that's the downside with it. The other thing is it is available throughout the city. It says 9 zip codes, but it's now open to all zip codes inside the city of Detroit. There are some income restrictions, very generous. It's 140%. So, just over 100,000. And you do have to be a first-time home buyer. So a lot of money on the table. Not almost my favorite program. The only reason it isn't is because it isn't free money. Okay. I'm all about tapping into the free stuff first. And that being said, here's the main reason why I sent a broadcast text out yesterday. Detroit's $25,000 program ran out of money last year about this time. We just got an update yesterday. They still have half. Okay. Still lots of money available, but do not wait. This money is going, people are really relying on this now. So they will give you $25,000 to buy a house. All you need out of pocket is $1,000. The reason I sent that text out yesterday was MSHDA is allowing us to use this on top of the state of Michigan 10,000. So there's $35,000 that can be used to buy a house right now. That's a lot of money. Now you have to pay the 10,000 back, but as long as you live in the house for 3 years, you get to keep the 25, free money. Okay. So you have to be a first-time home buyer. There are some income restrictions, and you have to have lived within the city for the last 12 months. Okay. Available throughout the whole city. Great, great program. And this one technically has no credit score requirements, although I'm having a really hard time getting people below a 580 approved on this. If you want to stack this on top of the state program requires a 640 credit score. Okay, so if your credit score is above 640, you could get the whole 35. If it's below 640, you can get the 25. Okay, great program. It's probably going to be around here at least a few more months. I'm surprised that it lasted the summer. But the thing is, there aren't too many people sounding the drums on this. Okay, there's a lot of free money out there. So, and I know a lot of people tend to think just because I talk about the city a lot that all I do is business in the city. I do business all over southeastern Michigan. In fact, here are about 25 homes that I currently have that will qualify for down payment assistance. Warren, Redford, Farmington Hills, East Point, Roseville, and there are hundreds and hundreds more on the MLS. I just need an address and I can tell you what it qualifies for. Okay, so don't think that you have to live in the city. These programs are available all over. It's just that the Tobias Harris and the City of Detroit program are only available in the city. Okay, all right, moving forward. Let's get into some of the details about these. So what is a down payment assistance and what's the difference between down payment assistance and grants? Okay, so grants are free money. Okay, sometimes it's free the day that you close. Sometimes you might have to own the home for 3, 4, 5 years, and then you get to keep all the grant money. So they may have ownership stipulations to go along with it. I am all about grabbing the grants first. Okay. Other than that, there's down payment assistance. So that's the second go-to. Sometimes the down payment assistance wants a first lien, then we put the grants on top. So there's a stacking order to it. So it depends on what program it is and what the criteria is or what the guidelines are for the programs on how we can stack them. Okay. So for that, I always tell people, schedule a call with me. I'll find out what programs are available, tell you how to stack them or what I would do, and then connect you with a lender that's going to do all of that and stack those programs for you. Now, there's 3 types of down payment assistance programs. The first one looks, sounds, and acts very much like a grant, but they call it a down payment assistance or a DPA. So down payment assistance, the first type and the one that I like is, again, free money. They'll give you X amount of money as long as you own the home for 3, 4, 5 years, then you get to keep all the money. So it sounds and acts just like a grant, but they call it a down payment assistance. The second one is like the state of Michigan, the MSHDA one. You get free use of the money. They're going to give you, like the state of Michigan will give you $10,000 to buy a house anywhere in the state. You get free use of the state's money, but when you sell the house, they want the $10,000 back. You never make a payment. You don't pay any interest. You just get free use of their money. So if someone's going to give you free use of their money for 30 years, you'd be foolish not to take it. Okay. So like that program. And then there's the third type of down payment assistance. And this is the one that I don't really like. And I think I only did about 2 of them last year. And they were in different areas of the country. So that's one where they actually give you a loan for the down payment and there's interest charged and you make payments on it. Okay. Remember earlier I said there's 3,000 different down payment assistance programs and grants across the country. A lot of them are like that, but not that many. If there's 1,000 like that, I'd be shocked. That tells me that there's about 2,000 grants and down payment assistance programs that are free use of the money or free money. Okay. So keep that in mind. So we always want to try to use grants first and then use down payment assistance in conjunction with the grants. Now, the eligibility requirements, a lot of these programs, there's 3 requirements basically to get into a house. Everyone gets tripped up on, hey, I'm saving for a down payment, or I'm saving my closing cost money. Don't worry about that, okay? The City of Detroit program only requires $1,000. The State of Michigan program only requires 1% out of pocket. So if you're buying a $150,000 house, that's $1,500. Most people can scrape that together. Heck, you can't even get into a rental for less than $3 or $4 grand. So as long as you've got a couple $1,000s to work with, I've got some solutions. And you don't need to have it today. We can save it along the way, okay? As long as I know what your budget is and we work out a path and we communicate, very seldom that I can't get someone across the finish line. So money, that's my job. To me, that's the easy part. The second part is credit. Now, credit is an issue. We typically need to have at least, right now, I'd say a 580 credit score to get things done. Okay. Keep in mind, I put the link in for my credit repair webinar. If you need help on that side, I do them once a month. It's how to get your scores up 60 points in 60 days. If your score is above a 580, we should be talking. I can usually coach you up very, very quickly. Once you get above 600, now we got a lot of opportunities. Okay. And then the third thing that we run into is income. Okay. Several of the people, the success stories that I showed you earlier, Kenneth and Emily and Deborah, the one thing all of them have in common is they were all on Social Security. They were all on fixed incomes, and we were able to get them into home ownership. Okay. So don't let anyone tell you it can't be done. Okay. Especially with the amount of money on the table. Okay. You don't need a ton of income to qualify for a $800 to $1,000 house payment. Okay. So typically they don't want to see more than 40 to 45% of your income going to your house payment and your debts that are showing up on your credit report. Okay. So keep that in mind. So some of the misconceptions about down payment assistance, that it's only for low income. It's not. Okay. There are some programs that have no income restrictions. So just keep it in mind. We just have to, what I always tell people is schedule a call with me. When you schedule a call, I'm going to ask you, hey, where's your income? Where are your credit scores? Okay, if that's the case, what area are you buying in? And then I can usually tell you, oh, these are the programs I'd recommend. This is how I would stack it. And this is the maximum that you could qualify for. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to connect you with a lender unless the chances are 90% or higher that you're going to get approved. There's no sense wasting your time with that. And if it's not going to work today, that's fine. We'll set you on a path and give you the tools that you need to get where you need to be. And I'll give you the time frame. Okay, it's not an exact science, but most of the people can be coached up. I've got some people that I've been working with for a couple years, and I always tell people, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, it doesn't matter to me. I'm here. I love what I do. It's a gift that I'm able to help people and get them into homes using these different types of programs. So I'm in this for the long haul. And so if you or any of your family members are thinking of moving in the next year or two, hey, send them to one of my webinars. Let them start to learn. Send them an invite. More the merrier. So other misconceptions are that everything needs to be in alignment. Oh, I hear all the time, I need to get my credit up, or I need to get some more money saved. It's not about perfection. Everything that we do is just about getting you into a house. You don't have to have perfect credit. You don't have to have perfect income. You don't have to have perfect amount of assets or anything like that. Nothing about what I do is perfection. Okay. It's just that even myself being in the business, I thought I had to have, after coming out of my bankruptcy foreclosure, I thought I had to have everything perfect. It didn't need to be perfect. I didn't need to I pushed my credit score from, whatever, 400 up to 700 in a couple of years. I worked hard at it, and you can too. And I'll teach you how, but you don't have to. As long as your scores are in the mid 600s, you can always get something done. So never about perfection. Okay. So keep that in mind, and also keep in mind, we all have a story. So with that being said, let's jump into some of these steps. So these are the steps to get things moving. Okay. The first thing we want to do is I want you to research the programs that are out there. Second step, we're going to check your eligibility and the criteria of the programs. Then we're going to ask you to gather your documentation, connect you with a lender to get approved for the grants and the down payment assistance. And then we're going to get you out looking at houses. Actually, even before all of this, I always tell people, start looking at houses, because I love it when people know what the market's like. Reason being, once people are approved and ready to go, if you're an educated buyer with where the marketplace is, oh my gosh, you make my job so much easier. So now, with that being said, I do want to give you a link that we'll go through here. There it is, Zero Down Scout. This is the link to our app. Okay, I'm going to give it to you in 1 second. So we have an app. It's available on the Google Play Store and Apple Store. All you have to do is go look for Zero Down Scout, ZeroDownScout. And this is where it's going to take you, right to our app. All you got to do is enter an address. Here's the address that I grew up at, 16801. See if it populates. LAMPHU. Lamphere, Detroit. There you go. Say home price $120,000. Household income, let's just say 25 to 50. First time home buyer, yes. Active military, no. See what kind of programs. And then next thing, boom, 13 programs. Detroit, down payment assistance, $25,000. What a coincidence. We already talked about that. Home boost program, 25. MSHDA, Wayne County, 10. MSHDA, 10. Wayne County, 10. So all kinds of programs that are out there. Michigan Step Forward, 15,000. All kinds of programs out there. And that is available through our website as well. And let me give you, take you right to my website right now. This is it. It's called Own the Roof. Okay. Put this in the chat box, copy, and paste that here. And let me get this out to my Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube friends. This is where all the education lies. If you want to learn how to buy a house with no money down, this is it. I have not found anything in the real estate world even remotely close to it. Okay. You can register for my webinars. Here are the resources. Publications. Any of you ever want a copy of my books? I mean, you could go out to Amazon and buy it. You don't need to. Okay. I didn't write these books to make money. I wrote them to pay it forward. We put them up on Amazon just because that's what we were told to do, to get credit to boost our website a little bit. So, but we have a book, No Down Payment, No Problem, teaches you all about how to purchase with no money down, and then no credit, no problem for people that need boosting the credit. Okay. So there are publications. Here's the Zero Down Scout right here. You can go down and pick it up on the Apple Store. Well, error occurred there, but let's go here. See if it's showing up on Google. There it is, Google Play. Okay. I have to check that link for the Apple Store, but I'm pretty confident it's out there. Let's check. Okay. Next one. For any of you that are with the Housing Commission, I do separate webinars teaching people how to use their vouchers to purchase homes. There's a link where you can book a free call with me. Always highly encourage people to do that. And then you can also register for my next webinar. Here's the one we're doing today. It's probably going to be a couple of weeks with the holiday coming up, Labor Day. We'll probably pick up our webinars right after Labor Day, okay, or a week after Labor Day. So next thing is credit repair webinar. We just had one September 22nd. I'm going to book one for probably the end of October. Okay. And then if we go back, there are free courses. I have everything out there with regards to my books are on video, okay, where I am telling you all about how to buy houses with zero down. So there is a zero down payment guide course, about 6 hours of recording, all free. Click on here, register, and it'll give you access to all of the recordings. I think there might be 40 of them out there, 45-minute recordings. And then credit score repair webinar, there might be 20 recordings on that webinar. 5 minutes a piece is typically what we kept it to. And then any of you out there that really want to get into the weeds and learn how to structure some of these transactions with very little money out of pocket, this course is for you. Structure deals with little money. I find that if there are any real estate agents on my webinar tonight, this is where they tend to go, okay? This tells you all the little tricks and things behind the curtain that I do to negotiate some of these transactions to get in with very little money out of pocket, okay? So that's how I'm able to whittle things down. So that being said, all through my website, Own the Roof, okay? And then, of course, there's other things on here, but that's the main meat and potatoes. And again, you can see, look at our home. We don't charge for anything. Free forever learning, free for 60 days, free for personal coaching. We just do that to put a time limit on it because occasionally we get very, very busy. Right now, everybody's got my path. If you're in Southeastern Michigan, you will always have access to me. In fact, here is my phone number, 248-252-7283. This is my cell phone number, okay? I am not bashful about putting it out there, okay? I want people to have access to me, okay? So I do pride myself in returning all of my phone calls by the end of the day. I actually try to do it before then because I hate having it stacked up. So I do get a lot of calls scheduled on my calendar. So if, book a call there, but I get, everybody's busy. So, not all the people are able to make the calls that they schedule on my calendar. I realize it. I'm the same. Everybody's busy. We get forgetful. So just shoot me a text. If I'm not on a call with one of those customers, I'll call you back right away. So, and the reason being, I just don't like being bogged down with returning a bunch of voicemails at the end of the day. Okay. So take me up on that. All right. Let's get back to everything. So Zero Down Scout is the tool. You can download it. Here's a link where you can download it, a QR code. That gives you an idea of what it looks like. Just hit the Get Started button, enter your information, and it's going to tell you all the programs that whatever property you put in qualify for, okay? From there, we need to figure out which programs are going to be the best fit for it. For that, I'm always going to tell you schedule a call with me. That way I can make sure you're not getting excited about something that you may not qualify for, okay? And more importantly, what I don't want to see people do is connect with a lender that's not going to get it done, okay? That's one thing I will always tell people, please allow me to connect you with the lender to get you approved for the down payment assistance and grants. And the reason I want to do that is without fail, once a week, I get someone that calls and says, John, I was on your webinar. I went to your app, saw that Bank of America maybe had some money. So I went online, and next thing I know, I'm with a rep with Bank of America, and now they're not returning my calls. There's nothing I can do. Okay. Bank of America has a call center with probably hundreds of people in it. They have no idea who I am. Okay. But if I make that introduction to you to someone in the Detroit area at Bank of America, that if you ever call me and say, hey, John, you referred me to so-and-so, he's not returning my calls, I guarantee you I will be on the phone with them. What gives? I don't give out names and to not get return phone calls. Even if it's not good news, everyone deserves a return phone call. It's just common courtesy, and it's a pet peeve of mine. So I'll leave it at that. So step one, we want to research your programs. You're going to do that through Zero Down Scout, and then you're going to connect with me to get a call, okay? From there, I'm going to look at all the programs, and in my mind, I'm going to figure out how am I going to structure this program to get this person in with very little money out of pocket, okay? And this is a sample transaction structuring. So, for example, $200,000 purchase, taxes, closing costs, homeowners insurance, title insurance, just the total closing cost could be $8,000. Down payment, $6,000. That's a total of $14,000. Well, obviously, if you're getting a $25,000 down payment assistance program, boom, it takes care of everything. If you're only getting 10 from the state, it takes care of 10. You got 4 left over. I can usually scrounge up some grant money to take care of maybe 2,500 of that, just because the state program requires 1%, or excuse me, 3,000, because the state requires you to have 1% or 2,000 into that type of transaction. So there's a lot of ways for me to get this across the finish line. Typically, on a $200,000 house, your payment might be $1,688. On a $150,000 house, it might be $1,200, $1,300. Oddly enough, about the same amount as what you'd pay for a 2-bedroom apartment right now. The average 2-bedroom apartment in this country is now above $1,350 a month. Crazy. Somebody would have told me that 5 years ago, I would have said, heck no. But here we are. So the one thing I can tell you, rent is not going down anytime soon. There is a shortage of rentals. There were a lot of false promises made that they were going to tackle that issue, get a lot of new housing out there. I don't know what your thoughts are, but I'm not seeing too many apartment complexes going up. I did see one a couple months ago that went up in Farmington Hills, but I can guarantee you it's not moderately priced. Probably $1,600 a month, I'd be my guess. So there's nothing moderate out there about rentals, and I feel like it's just with the pressure from the amount of or lack of homes available for moderate to low income people, it's just going to continue to push prices up. So right now, the last number I saw is there is a shortage of 3 million households in the country. How that happened, I have no idea, but that is the truth of the matter. So it's creating for some very awkward situations. And when you have a shortage like that and you consistently watch rents go up, it's just a recipe for landlords to really not care and just keep milking the properties. So anyways, so this is kind of how the numbers work. There's a lot of ways to get things across the finish line with very little money out of pocket. So what I want to do, though, is when I learn your situation, I'm going to look at the eligibility for these programs and make sure you fit from a credit standpoint and from a debt to income standpoint. Now, if that works, then I'm going to connect you with the lender. Okay. So as long as I know where your credit score is, your income is, and where your debts are, I can put on those lender hats and give you a pretty predictable outcome. So when I connect you with a lender, it's more of a formality. Okay. You just need to give them all of the documentation. They'll send you a quick link, and then we'll make sure that we set you up for whatever down payment assistance programs or grants you qualify for. Next step after that is you're going to have to gather your documentation. Okay. They'll need typically bank statements, or if you don't have bank statements, a lot of people use debit cards or pay cards and things like that. That's fine. We will need to get your proof of income and get that over to the lender as well. After that, then we're actually going to connect you with the lender who's going to offer you the most amount of money based on your situation. Okay. And then from there, we've got you out looking at houses. Okay. But even before this, like I said earlier, I want you to start looking for a home. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is look at my website right here, micitysearch.com. This is the website, direct feed from the multi-list, where you can see all the programs, all the homes that are currently available. So if you need any links to this, just text me and I can send them off to you. So from there, one of my teammates, if you're in my marketplace, will get you into whatever houses you'd like to see. If you're outside the marketplace, I've got partners all over the country that I can refer people out to and work with them hand in hand to structure your transactions so you're getting with very little money out of pocket. Okay. The next thing, I always tell people, imagine if you're opening the door to your own home. It's a process, but it is possible. I don't want to make it sound like it's real easy because there's always bumps that come up on the road, but that's what you have me for, okay? I've done this enough. I've been around the industry long enough. There's very few situations that I haven't run into where I can't coach people across the finish line. And more importantly, with our call, and I always tell people, book that call, I will go over it and I'll tell you exactly what we need to do to get there. And if it's not going to work right now, I'll let you know. But I'm going to give you a path to what we need to do to get there, more importantly. Like I said earlier, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, doesn't matter. I mean, I've been working with some people longer than that. I've been working with people that get everything lined up and they got everything in a position where they can do something. And then all of a sudden, life gets in the way of our plans. They lose a job, something happens, and then that's okay. And stuff like that happens. That's life. But then, we just pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and we go back at it again. Okay. So like I said earlier, this is not about perfection. So let me do this one more time. Give you my phone number, 248-252-7283. And I'm going to give you a link to book a call with me. Let me get this into the other chat, 248-252-7283. And any questions out there? We are just about at the 7:45 mark. I want to make sure I'm respectful of everybody's time. And okay, let me go back through some of the questions here. And I see Let's share. I'm ready for a lender. I want to start the process by next week, the latest. Well, do me a favor. Schedule a call or give me a call tomorrow, okay? After these webinars, I know my voicemail is going to be full. You can see out of the corner of my eye, probably had 10 calls since we were doing this. So it's just it's just the way it is. So I want to try to get back in touch with all of those people. Like I said, before I call it a day, I like to make sure that my voicemail is empty. So let me give you that link to book a call again. There you go. And get this out to our Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube friends as well. Okay, answer some questions out there. Okay, got it. From Facebook. All right. How long does it take to do this? Great question. Right now, depends on the program. Okay. Best case, 30 days from the day that we find a house. And it's not uncommon for us to find a house and get something under contract quite easily. Market is shifting right now. So depending upon what area you're looking in and the price range, I need to clarify that. So if we find a house in a week or two, 30 days from that point, okay? If we're using certain programs, it could take up to 60 days. For example, the city of Detroit, 25,000, there's a log jam there right now. It's taking 2 to 3 weeks just to get through that program, and we can't get through that program until we get the other things done. So I would say 60 days on something like that, okay? Most of the other programs, 30 days from start to finish after you find a home. All right, what other questions? So I have somebody asking from YouTube about a bankruptcy. Okay, so I do cover that in my credit repair webinar, okay? But just to give you a feel for it, if you're coming out of a bankruptcy, we typically need to be 2 years past the discharge date for a Chapter 7. If you're a Chapter 13, You just need to be 1 year into the Chapter 13. So you can actually buy a house while you're in Chapter 13 bankruptcy. So don't let anybody tell you it can't be done. I do it a couple times a year and have for the past 10 years. So it's something that just most people don't even realize. As long as you're in a Chapter 13 and make 12 payments on time to the trustee, you can get in. Just need to get the trustee's approval. All right. Next question. All right, back on Facebook. Okay. What is the minimum credit score? Okay. Typically, there is one program that doesn't have a credit score requirement. The issue that we run into right now is a lot of lenders have their own restrictions or overlays that go on top of the program. So it used to be where I could tell people, hey, I could get things done down to a 560. I would say 560 is kind of pushing it right now, depending upon where you're looking and what program we're tapping into. Okay. So for example, the City of Detroit program doesn't have any credit requirements. It's the underlying program or financing that we use on top of it that usually is a stumbling block. And unfortunately, we're seeing the credit markets kind of tighten up a little bit. They're not as flexible as they were a year ago. Okay. Great question. Okay. Got someone asking for a copy of my book. Happy to do that. If you want a copy of it, please text me your email address and I'll send an email out to you right after the webinar. Okay. My phone number, 248-252-7283. All right. Any other questions this evening? All right. If you have any friends or family, anybody stuck in that rental rut, please give them a link to my website. Have them sign up for one of my webinars. Like I said, I'm here month in, month out. I typically do these webinars 3 times a month. When I run into some holidays, like we've got Labor Day, it might only be 2 times next month, but I will have other webinars, HCV webinar, and always doing my credit repair webinar. So I will pick a date for my credit repair webinar. I'll try to do that tomorrow. And let me make sure, put that down. Repair. Schedule. Okay. All right. Okay. Any other questions before we call it a night? Wow. That is a huge problem. I appreciate you sharing that because you are not alone. A lot of people have been victims of identity theft. So if you're now over 600, that's where we need to be. Typically, there is a path to doing something. Highly recommend you schedule a call just so we can make sure that there's no things on there that are going to trip you up, because we need to be proactive to make sure those items are tagged as identity theft. So very, very sad state. I'm almost afraid to answer my phone nowadays. I feel like half the calls that come in say scam on them. So yeah, so sorry you had to go through that. I had mine hit, 15 years ago before my meltdown. I have to say they did a pretty good job taking care of it, and we were able to cut it off pretty quickly. But I see a lot of good people who get tripped up with identity theft. So you are wise to think 2 or 3 times before you give your Social Security or any information out to anyone. Okay. So I will never ask you for that information, nor should you hand that out easily. Okay. That should only be handed out to a lender through a encrypted website that a lender sends you. Most lenders don't like doing over the phone applications because they don't want that exposure. So they'll send you to an encrypted website that needs to be branded to whatever the lender is. Look up in the top, what we talk about. So for example, right here, if you look at my website, see at the top where it says Own the Roof, that's called a URL. Okay. You want to make sure whatever lender you're talking to, if it's Flagstar Bank or First Merchants Bank or Bank of America, you want to make sure that this URL says it in there. Then you're putting your information in what I would consider a safe, encrypted environment. So, because there's no shortage of scammers out there, as sad as it is. So, thank you for mentioning that. I don't talk about that nearly enough. So, but it's a real pain point for people that work so hard. I mean, it's so hard just to put food on the table nowadays, the way prices are going up. Are you kidding? Between the grocery store, the gas pumps, just making ends meet are tough. And then you get some joker on the other side of the world trying to steal your identity. It's not a very blessing times. I mean, I feel blessed for what I do. I feel blessed to be alive. Don't want to sound that way, but I feel like there's a lot of people out there trying to separate us from our hard-earned money. So anyways, thank you for sharing that. So any other questions before we call it a night? Okay. Well, thank you all very much. Oh, one thing, if I could trouble whoever is out there, because I always forget to do this. If any of you would be so kind, here, I want to give you a link to, there it is right there. This is a link to my Google review page. So if you go out here, and I'll paste it right in here so you can see where it takes you. There you go. Google reviews, Own the Roof, John Collins. If you could go out here and give me some reviews, we're really trying to get our review count up right now. You can see I've only got 18 because I always forget to ask this. But if you could go in there and give me a 5-star review, let people know that I wholeheartedly am 100% about education and teaching people about these programs. No question, my team and I, we are realtors. Our job is to help you find a house and get you in with very little money out of pocket. That is what our goal might be, but we always lead with education first. That's how we feel with our hearts. We give the education away, and as a result, people entrust us with their home ownership needs. So if you could go out there and give us a review, certainly appreciate it. And thank you all very much for attending this evening, and certainly hope that our paths cross again soon. So thanks a lot. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.
Record.